Here is the drone video for the 162-acre property in Camden County, Missouri. As we look down, there's the truck parked in an open area. Looking northerly over the property, you can see the Lake of the Ozarks, which is just literally across the road from the north tip of the property. So awesome lake views from numerous different spots on this property. We're headed back kind of westerly, and I think what we're going to do is go way up and get a good look at this as the drone shakes around a little bit. I don't know what the deal was with that. So we're looking down on Dodds Camp Road, and the drone was being kind of funky. It really wasn't windy, so I don't know what the deal was, but made me kind of nervous. But there we go. It straightened out finally. So we're just going to spin around. We'll give you an overview of the area. That's looking west. That's Dodds Camp Road that you see. That smaller road that you see toward the center of the screen now, that's the easement road, and that can take you down to the that 54-acre portion. That road you see there is the other easement road. That's Walkabout Lane, and that links up with that road you see going left through that meadow. At the end of that meadow where it turns right, you would go left, and then you would end up in the open meadow and at Pearson Creek on the east side of the 162 acres. So if you look at the maps and the listing, you'll see this is 3 separate tracts: 102 acres, 54 acres, and 6 acres. So they total 162. And this is sort of an overview of the whole works. Where the truck is right there toward the bottom of the screen, you can see the red dot. That's parked roughly in the middle of the 102 acres, more towards the south than the direct middle. The road you see on the left is Dodds Camp Road. It goes down to the north end of the property and then cuts back. So the property does border Dodds Camp in a few spots, but much of it does not. It actually, the property line sits back from the road, maybe 100 feet. Back in the 50s, they did some subdivisions down here by the lake, so there are platted lots. A string of platted lots between most of Dodds Camp Road and the property, but it does have access in several spots. So there's the truck parked down there by a kind of a clearing where some of the trails start. We're looking north over the property. You'll find all kinds of trails. Awesome property that we've had for several years, and then it was sold and leased out for a while, and we made a deal and got it back again. So we're super excited about it. We're familiar with this property. We're very familiar with the hunting in this area, which is phenomenal. White-tailed deer and turkey. Toward the center of the screen, now that road winds across the 102 acres and goes down directly into the meadow on the 54 acres. So I am referring to them as different tracts, but they're actually all contiguous. They're all together. It's a total of 162 acres. So if you look at the maps, you'll see exactly what I mean. They could be sold separately. What we decided to do is give someone the chance to buy all 3 because they really do tie in nicely together. Although they stand on their own, I think there's a little synergy when they're all together, and it makes for just an awesome property. Looking down, you can see Pearson Creek, and that borders much of the east side of the property. Those houses you see are on the other side of the creek, not on the property. So looking northerly, now the property is to the left behind Dodds Camp Road, behind that string of building lots and houses. And there's also the creek there, and like I said, that borders a portion of the property. Check out the interactive maps to really see. But Lake of the Ozarks, gorgeous. It's a beautiful section of lake. It's a I guess what you call a family-friendly part of the lake, which is great. A lot of fishermen, a lot of families, and tubing and all that good stuff. So that's actually our favorite section of the lake is right here. Now we're moving down toward the meadow on the east side. We're looking southerly, so you can see the meadow. It has not been mowed for several years. I've seen it after it's been bush hogged, and it's gorgeous. It's probably been 2 or 3 years since it's been mowed, so it needs that. That's Pearson Creek on the left. So the property sits to the right of the creek, goes right, includes that meadow, goes all the way up the hill, and keeps on trucking. I mean, it's big. So that whole large meadow area that you see is on the property. We're going to do a flyover here, and I'll kind of tell you when we get to the south line or close to it. but beautiful meadow. I mean, that could be ideal for a lot of things. We tried to get somewhat close to the creek to get a good look at it. Couldn't get too close with the drone because you can never really tell exactly how far you are from the treetops. But I mean, every time we've been out in this area, and we've owned property out here for years, that creek has been running. Probably has some little minnows in it. I don't know if we would have anything bigger than that. So again, everything to the right of the creek, including that big beautiful meadow that's on the property. And as we continue to head to the south, you'll see the meadow gets more narrow. And we'll go another 100 feet where the meadow gets narrow, and then that's going to be the south line of these tracts. So we're looking southerly, still over the property, but not for too much longer. A lot of gravel in that creek bed, man. If you've got some building projects or landscaping or whatever, you can save tens of thousands of dollars by having your own gravel pit. Gravel and rock in there. Okay, so now we've crossed over the south. We're just crossing over the south line of the property. On the right side of that section of meadow, it's hard to see because it hasn't been used for quite a while, but that's the easement road. That'll take you to specifically to the 54 acres, or the east side of the 162 acres, however you want to say it. The meadow crosses over Pearson Creek right there, just a low water crossing. So you'll want a pickup truck for that if you're going to use that method to access the property. That easement road then links up with that other gravel road that you see there, the more apparent gravel road. And we'll follow that, I believe with the drone, we'll follow that back to the west, and we'll end up on Dodds Camp Road in a little bit here. So this area, like I said, well proven area for hunting. Got a couple property owners out here that own large tracts, and they use it specifically for white-tailed deer hunting. So you'll see some feeders and food plots and whatnot. Still flying westerly. This is a long video. Holy cow. Got some little cabins and stuff set up here. That's a gentleman who owns some property here. So as we keep going straight, that's the main easement road. If we were to take a right, that is the other easement road, and that is, I believe that's called Walkabout Lane, and that'll actually cross over the southwest portion of the property to get to Dodds Camp Road. So I mean, you've got several access points. So now we're continuing westerly on the main easement road, and it's going to curve toward the right and go up a hill, and we're going to end up at Dodds Camp Road. This is obviously an early springtime drone video with just a few leaves out. The dogwoods are out, which is pretty. Those are I'm told those are the white trees that come out first. The leaves come out first. In another couple weeks, this will just be a sea of green. The tracks out here were logged within the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. Certainly not clear cut. A lot of timber left. In fact, there's portions of the 162 acres that have a ton of timber left. But feel free to walk that and check it all out. So now we're coming up to which would be actually the start of the easement road, coming on to Dodds Camp Road. Okay, so there's the blue gate that's at the start of the easement road. We'll get you the code for that. And then the larger road is Dodds Camp Road, so that's the county road. So the easement roads are minimum maintenance roads. Definitely want a truck or an SUV, preferably with 4-wheel drive. But even if it's 2-wheel drive, you'll get some extra clearance, which is nice if you get some rough spots in the road. Okay, so there's the lake again, and I'm not sure where we go from here. The property's off. You could actually see it off to the right there. So if we look down, whoa, where are we going? Okay, we're looking back down the easement road. So we're over Dodds Camp Road. That's the easement road that starts further to the west. Okay, so there's Dodds Camp Road, the gravel road. The paved road you see right there is Kaufman Bend Drive. If we follow that to the left, to the south, that's Highway Z. So it's actually fairly easy to find the property if you have a few maps or um, directions or whatnot. It's really not too bad. So close to the lake. I mean, man, this is awesome. So now we're looking east on Dodds Camp. Off in the distance on the other side of the road is the property, and I think we're going to fly that way. I hope we go and check out the north end. I know we did at some point. I hope we've got it on this video because, I mean, you've got literally hundreds of building sites, but if you wanted basically just a mansion overlooking the lake, that north end would be the way to go. All right, so now we're getting close to where Dodds Camp Road cuts to the north, and that's when you actually continue going straight on that last little section of road that you see right there, that goes off to the upper, well, toward the upper right of your screen. So the first several hundred feet of that is actually, my understanding, an old community road, and then if you look at the map, you'll see then you hit the property, and now as we look, the property is actually that is now a private trail on the property, and it's on both sides of that trail. So there's the truck parked in that kind of cleared area, looking to the north. And I believe we do go to the north after this and check that out. I hope we do. Looking off to the east, you can see the meadow in the distance and Pearson Creek. This south part is one of the spots that appears to have some pretty decent timber. You can look at the aerials to see that, but the north part, I mean, that isn't bad either, but this part south of where the truck is on the road there, there's some big timber that wasn't logged in there. So now as we go north, you can see one of the trails. I mean, you can see a few trails. There used to be a ton of trails on this property. They'll probably have to be opened up again with a tractor and brush hog. So we're directly over the property. Look at that beautiful lake view. Still over the property, still over the property. And then the property line comes down more or less to behind, to the back side of those houses and yards that you see there. So, I mean, if you wanted just the mansion on a hill look, I think this north tip would be a great place to do that. It's a pretty unique property. Feel free to check out the listings. I know this was a super long video. Thanks for sticking with us. There you can see a boat launch down there. I think if you're a member of the community club or whatever for around $100 a year, then you can use that launch and that stuff over there, which is pretty convenient if you're using that property. InstantAcres.com is where you can go to check and see if this is still available. You can give us a call in the office, or you can send us an email at sales@instantacres.com and ask about the 162 acres at the Lake of the Ozarks. We're slowly flying to the south now, directly over the property. I mean, so many options on this one. And I like the fact that it has so many nice amenities already, like that big meadow, the creek, the different trails, the views, a few of the open sites. I mean, there's a lot you can do here. You can check, you can call Camden County if you have questions about zoning, but I believe the west part is zoned agricultural, so the 102 acres zoned A1, and the east part, the 54 acres, and the other tract zoned R1 for residential, but neither one is a restrictive zoning. Agricultural is probably the less restrictive of the two, but I mean, if you're going to do a standard house or cabin, you're going to be good on either one. They're going to have basic zoning requirements, like 95% of the United States, probably a concrete foundation, that kind of stuff, but you'll see it just really just a lot of stuff going on in this area is the mouthful I'm trying to spit out, and all different types of houses, so you don't have to build, you know, a $200,000 home. There are little cabins, medium-sized houses, and big mansions at the Lake of the Ozarks. It's just that kind of area. It's pretty cool. So yeah, once again, InstantAcres.com to check if the property's available, or shoot us an email, and we would love to chat with you.